Devadatta's attempt to divide the Sangha. How to face betrayal without living in resentment. The Buddha was staying near Rajagaha. Among the monks was Devadatta. He was not an outsider. He had gone forth within the same community and lived among those who followed the Buddha's Dharma and Vinaya. That is what makes this story especially painful. The conflict came from within. According to the Vinaya, Devadatta approached the Buddha and asked him to hand over leadership of the Sangha. He repeated the request. The Buddha refused firmly. He said that he would not hand the Sangha over even to Sariputta or Moggallana, and certainly not to Devadatta. The Vinaya says that Devadatta left angry and displeased, and that this became the beginning of his hatred toward the Buddha. The early record does not portray the Buddha as answering that resentment with resentment of his own. But neither does it portray him as pretending that nothing serious had happened. He instructed the Sangha to make a formal public clarification in Rajagaha. People were to be told that Devadatta's character had changed. Whatever Devadatta now did by body or speech should not be taken as representing the Buddha, the Dhamma, or the Sangha. His actions were his own responsibility. This was not revenge. It was a boundary. Sariputta hesitated. He had previously spoken in praise of Devadatta in Rajagaha. How could he now publicly denounce his conduct? The Buddha asked whether Sariputta's earlier praise had been truthful at the time. Sariputta said that it had. The Buddha then told him to speak truthfully now as well. This gives us an important lesson about changing relationships. What was true then can remain true. What is true now must also be faced. Later, Devadatta developed a more direct plan to create division. He and his followers proposed 5 strict practices. All monks should live in the wilderness for life. All should live only on alms. All should wear only robes made from discarded cloth. All should live under trees throughout their lives. And all should abstain completely from fish and meat. At first, these proposals may sound exceptionally pure. But the Vinaya gives a crucial detail. Devadatta expected the Buddha to refuse making them compulsory. He believed that people were impressed by harsh austerity and that the refusal could be used to make his own group appear more rigorous. The problem was not that these practices were themselves wrong. The Buddha allowed wilderness living, alms-going, and cast-off cloth for those who chose them. What he rejected was forcing them on every monk for life. He also allowed dwelling under a tree for part of the year, and permitted fish and meat when the monk had not seen, heard, or suspected that the animal had been killed specifically for him. The conflict was therefore not a simple contest between discipline and comfort. A voluntary practice was being turned into a compulsory badge of purity. Devadatta brought the 5 proposals to the Buddha. The Buddha did not accept them as universal rules. Devadatta left pleased. The refusal was useful to his plan. He began telling people that his group had adopted these stricter practices while the Buddha had not required them. Some people were impressed. Others recognized that something more serious was happening and criticized his attempt to divide the Sangha. The Buddha then asked Devadatta directly whether he was trying to cause a schism. Devadatta admitted that he was. The Buddha warned him, "Enough, Devadatta. Do not advocate a schism in the Sangha." This part of the story is important. Letting go of resentment does not mean refusing to name harmful behavior. Compassion does not require vague language. The Buddha asked directly, received a direct answer, and told Devadatta to stop. There is a difference between anger and firmness. Anger may want another person to suffer. Firmness wants harmful conduct to end. The Buddha's teaching on speech elsewhere makes this clearer. In the discourse to Prince Abhaya, he explains that words worth speaking must be true and beneficial, and that even unwelcome words may be spoken at the proper time. The purpose is not to enjoy another person's discomfort. It is to speak what is useful and true. Sometimes silence protects peace. Sometimes silence protects the problem. Devadatta did not stop. He told Ananda that from then on he would conduct the Uposatha and formal Sangha acts separately from the Buddha and the community. The separation had become concrete. Among those who followed him were 500 newly ordained monks from Vesali. The Vinaya makes an important distinction about them. They knew little about what had actually taken place. They thought, "This is the Dhamma, this is the Vinaya, this is the teacher's instruction." They followed the wrong side while believing that they were following what was right. This prevents us from treating every person in a conflict as morally identical. Devadatta was intentionally pursuing division. The 500 new monks were acting without fully understanding the situation. Both participated in the split, but their knowledge and intention were not the same. Once we feel betrayed, it is easy to look at everyone standing near the other person and think, they are all the same. But one person may be manipulating. Another may be misinformed. Another may have heard only one side. Responsibility should be accurate. When the Buddha learned that Devadatta had taken the 500 monks to Gaya Head, he did not describe them as permanent traitors. He asked Sariputta and Moggallana whether they had compassion for those new monks. He told them to go before the monks came to ruin. The focus was not wounded pride. It was correction. Sariputta and Moggallana went. A monk nearby became distressed, thinking that the Buddha's two foremost disciples were defecting to Devadatta. The Buddha corrected that misunderstanding. They had gone to bring the monks back. When Devadatta saw them approaching, he misunderstood their purpose and believed they had come over to his side. After teaching late into the night, Devadatta became tired and lay down. Sariputta then taught the monks. Moggallana also instructed them. As they listened, the 500 monks came to understand the Dhamma. Sariputta told them that he and Moggallana were returning to the Buddha and invited those who approved of the Buddha's Dhamma to come. The 500 monks returned with them. This was not simply one faction defeating another. The monks had been confused about what was Dhamma and Vinaya. They were taught again. Once they understood, they changed direction. When they returned, Sariputta asked whether they should be formally accepted again. The Buddha said reordination was not necessary. Instead, they were to confess the grave offense connected with what they had done. The path back remained open, but return did not erase responsibility. This balance matters. The monks could return. They also had to recognize the seriousness of their participation. This is why Devadatta's story is not a teaching that says, just forgive everything. The Buddha did not ignore the division. He separated Devadatta's conduct from the Sangha. He warned him. He sent trusted disciples to correct those who had been misled. He required returning monks to acknowledge their offense. Every one of those actions took the problem seriously. But serious action did not require hatred to become the center of the community. That difference is especially difficult when the person who caused harm was once close. Betrayal can make us question our own judgment. Why did I trust this person? Was everything false? Should I make sure everyone knows what they did? The Buddha's response suggests another order. First, establish what is true. Then identify what responsibility belongs to whom. Set the boundary the situation requires. Protect people who may be confused or harmed. Leave room for correction where correction is still possible. And do not turn revenge into the new purpose of your life. This does not mean memory should disappear. Memory can protect us. But memory and resentment are not the same. Memory says, this happened. Resentment says, I must keep reliving this until the other person suffers enough. Memory can guide a boundary. Resentment can make the boundary itself into a prison. The Buddha did not ask Sariputta to lie about Devadatta's earlier qualities. That detail matters. Do not let loyalty hide the present. Do not let anger falsify the past. There is another lesson in the 500 monks. The early account distinguishes between the person intentionally producing schism and people drawn into it through ignorance. Repair therefore begins with discernment. Who needs a boundary? Who needs correction? Who may still listen? Treating everyone identically would be easier. It would not be more accurate. The same principle can help when conflict enters a family, friendship, workplace, or community. It may be necessary to stop giving someone authority, correct false claims, or say clearly, this action does not represent me. Those steps are not automatically hatred. The question is what the heart is trying to accomplish. Are we trying to make the truth clear? Or are we trying to make the other person hurt because we hurt? Are we protecting others? Or recruiting them into our resentment? Resentment can disguise itself as justice. Justice asks for what is true and proportionate. Resentment wants one more blow after the necessary work is finished. The Buddha's response does not ask us to become emotionally numb. It shows something more demanding. We can take betrayal seriously without making hatred our guide. We can say, this was wrong. We can say, this must stop. We can say, this action is yours, not ours. And when someone who was misled understands and returns, we can distinguish that person from the one who knowingly engineered the harm. To release resentment is not to declare that nothing happened. It is to stop giving the wrong that happened permanent authority over the direction of our own mind. Today, if you are carrying hurt from someone who was once close, may you not be forced into either denial or hatred. May you see clearly what truly happened. May you speak what is true without adding what anger wants to invent. May you set whatever boundary is necessary without turning the boundary into revenge. May you recognize the difference between those who deliberately cause harm and those who can still understand, correct themselves, and return. And may another person's resentment never become the force that teaches your own heart how to live.